just not true. I don't want the spotlight. You know, I'm very shy, and in fact, when I go to parties, I make it a point to come in late so that I could help the hostess clean up the glasses.
How was it for you today in group, Alice? No glasses to clean here.
No, actually, I thought about bringing some coffee cake at the next meeting.
And maybe some glasses?
Say some more about your experience, though, Alice.
Well, I feel like I'm looking into a window from the outside, you know, looking at the group and not being in it.
That feeling of sort of being out of a group, kind of looking into it, is that a familiar place for you? You've been there before.
Yes, like I said, I've washed a lot of glasses, and I've never felt like I belonged in any group. You know, it's always been like I've been outside looking in.
Alice, is that something you want to change in the group? Something you want to work on?
Yeah, so, but not today.
I was a little concerned about Kathy and how quiet you've been today.
Well, I don't want to offend anyone, but I have to be truthful. I was a little bit put out by the men in the group, especially you two guys.
Which two?
Bob and Alan, always being so competitive with one another.
I know what you mean. I mean, it's like you guys are trying to be top dog or something.
Oh, I don't know where you're coming from, that, Darlene. It is Darlene. I used to be challenging. I'm not that way now. In fact, before the meeting, I spoke with Irv and Joan, and they told me that I would be probably getting a lot of support from this group, and I was shocked because I'm used to struggle, not support. So that made me realize at that point that I'm much more used to struggle, but I'm not now. I don't feel the struggle today. Besides, I think I'm just asking questions that need to be asked.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel competition in here. I don't feel safe.
What do you feel about the feedback you're getting from Darlene and from Kathy?
Like I say, I'm not, I just don't feel as though I'm challenging today. I don't feel that in this group. Well, you made that point, Kathy. What do you mean? Give me an example.
Well, I don't feel so safe right now.
Well, I could give you an example. Earlier on in this session, when Joan commented that Alan was sensitive to Alice's needs because he took the focus off her, well, you jumped right in there and said you didn't agree and he was wrong and that he should have given her more time.
No, I think you're taking that wrong. I really believe that Alice should have had a lot more time to work through her problem. I really don't think Alan should have jumped in the way he did. But
Well, Kathy, you mentioned me into this competitiveness. It's not that I'm questioning you. I want some feedback. I don't feel that way.
I don't know, it's just your demeanor. You always have to have the last word.
And in the beginning, when we all told why we were coming, your reasons for being here were very vague. You know, as if, well, you had a problem before, but now you were fine. You know?
Yeah, you know, you were talking about how you used to be in therapy about 10 years ago with Irv.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was good. I mean, it helped because we were all nervous, and then you said that it was helpful. But then you kept saying it over and over and over, and, you know, what were you trying to prove? Like, you and Irv were big buddies or something, and you were a big pro at this?
Okay, I hear it.
You know, we really gonna have to stop today. I think we've done a lot of work today in the group. Before we stop, let me just check in real briefly with you. How do you all feel about this meeting? What's it been like for each of you? I'm particularly curious about what the last 10 minutes has been like, say, in contrast to the earlier part of the meeting.
I thought there was a lot of energy.
When do you think?
Well, like the last 10 minutes.
Mhm. Well, I think during the last 10 minutes we really all opened up a whole lot more than in the beginning, you know.
It's very difficult to relate to people so openly and honestly. That was very hard to do.
New.
Very new.
I found it very interesting today. I think I learned quite a lot.
Well, I still think that there was some competition going on. And I think that some people were put on the spot.
Like who?
Well, Alice.
Anybody else?
Well, me.
Well, I think we also put Alan and Bob on the spot, though. I think.
How do you feel about that? Do you think there was any danger in that today?
Well, I certainly hope not. But I think they both took it very well. I think they listened and were open to what we were saying to them.
Can we check that out, the two of you, what the meeting was like for you two?
I feel fine with it.
You're going to come back?
I'll be back.
Certainly.
You know, I'm aware that one of the things that we did too in the meeting is, even though we, offered the opportunity for people to speak, one of the things that we did also, and I think we ought to continue to do, is sort of let people have the right, in a sense, to say, well, that's enough for today, I've had enough. Because I think that happened earlier with you, Alice. You said, yeah, I want to work on this, but that's enough for today. And I think I saw the group honor that, so I thought that was great. Okay, gotta stop. See you all next week.
Okay.
Now let's go back and take a look at what happened in this segment of the group. Before the first 60 or 70 minutes of the group, at the time that we tuned into it, the group had been having a fairly standard initial session. And what happens in initial sessions, what happened in this group, was that people had talked about why they'd come for therapy, talked about some of the major problems they had been having in life. Some of them talked about other therapy that they had had or other groups they had been into. A couple of people talked about how awkward it was to talk in front of a group. And then about that time, I made a major intervention. And in effect, I asked them to let's begin to take a look at how we feel towards one another in the here and now of this group. That was a significant step in the group, and it had been the first time of it was the first time of many times that I'll begin to try to escort the group explicitly into the here and now. That was a rather difficult thing for the members to accomplish. We don't ordinarily talk in typical social interaction about our feelings towards one another, and you notice the group did not do this very willingly. First of all, there was some resistance in that someone said that they didn't quite understand what I meant, and could I repeat it, although I thought my instructions were quite clear. So I repeated it. And then after that, the group soon began to be engaged in a discussion of being proud to be in this group, and the fact that it was a good thing to be in this group, and that perhaps people who weren't in groups outside should be in groups. Well, ordinarily, that's good material. It's material, anything that helps people be proud of the group they're in increases the cohesion of that group, makes the group work better. But in this instance, what was happening was still resistance, so I say it a third time. And then at this point, the members then begin to take a look at what's happening in the group. The first interpersonal comment that was made was to begin to talk about Alice. And that, again, is not unusual about phenomena in groups. As the members begin to close ranks, they want to include all the outliers in the group. So people then talked about Alice's silence Alice began to talk about what it was like for her ordinarily in her life to be
I feel
outside
like
of groups, looking
I'm
in.
looking
In
into
fact,
a
this
window
discussion of
from the
being outside or being
you know,
inside
looking
is,
at the
is
group
again a
and
common
not
phenomenon
being
early
in
in
it.
groups. Some people try to measure, quantify certain kinds of group stages, and that's always the first group stage, the idea of being in or out.